This is the beginning of something huge as an NHL insider reveals a massive update on the Connor McDavid contract heading into next season, and these key details hinge the entire future of the Edmonton Oilers. We're going to break down multiple reports, how this affects the Oilers, and exactly what is happening with Connor McDavid going into the final year of his contract. We're going to break down all this and so much more, but before we get into that, we are just 12 subscribers away from our goal of 18,000 subscribers. So if 12 of you wanted to go down, hit that button, it would mean a lot. And we just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching the videos. But with that, let's just hop straight into it today, where we did get some reports. And listen, the biggest story around the NHL this entire offseason has been Connor McDavid's extension. We know going into the final year of his 8-year deal, making 12.5, he's going to get a significant raise, and that goes straight into Elliot Freeman speaking on this on 32 Thoughts. Team Canada meets next week in Calgary. I expect after Connor McDavid is done there, he goes back up to Edmonton. They will work on getting this extension done. Now listen, this contract is going to come in and break records. It's going to be the biggest contract in the NHL. We know Leon Draisaitl making 14, and with Scotiastat projecting a 7-year 15.8 or an 8-year 16. What is your thoughts on these extension talks, and how do you think it starts to unfold? We still have more reports, but Darius, what is your overall thoughts on this?
Well, I think it starts to unfold exactly this way. And a lot of people are talking about how Connor McDavid will not be an Edmonton Oiler after next season. And I've changed my stance on that a little bit. I don't think Connor McDavid will be an Edmonton Oiler after the next couple of seasons. Ultimately, I do think that they're actually going to get a contract extension done here shortly. I do think it's odd that they haven't gotten a contract extension done, that both parties knew that it was, coming to this point. He was eligible to sign an extension this year on July 1st, and it hasn't happened yet. But I think that, when you look back at Connor McDavid's time as an Edmonton Oiler and the last 8 years specifically on the contract that he's on now, they needed a goalie 8 years ago, and the team has still not delivered while having multiple coaches, multiple GMs. All of that has not delivered on a goaltender still. And not only that, the team is not necessarily built to win. I think Connor McDavid, and a lot of Oilers fans, of course, are going to have something to say about that in the comments. But on paper, if you look on paper, this team is not built to win, and they're plugging guys in, and it seems to work. Last year, Kasperi Kapanen, for an example, right? He comes in, he plays a big role, all of these things. But Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, make no mistake about it, will this team to victory. And the fact that they made the last 2 Stanley Cup finals is very impressive, and it's on the backs of those 2 guys mentally willing this team to that position. So for me, Connor McDavid, I think that he is going to sign an extension, but I think it's going to be only a 1 or 2 year deal to see how things go and really put the ball in the court of the Edmonton Oilers organization again to say, get me a goalie, rebuild this team on the fly, because we'll get to it in a second. This team is going to look different over the next couple of seasons. That is for sure. And obviously the cap's going up. The cap will be restructured. He's going to make a lot of money. Like you mentioned, it's going to be an historic deal. So yes, I do think he's going to sign a contract extension. He won't be leaving Edmonton after this year, but I don't think it's going to be for very long. 1 or 2 years max, because I think once he hits 31 years old and they haven't won a Stanley Cup still in Edmonton, if that is the case, it's definitely possible that they do over the next 2 years. I think he's thinking, I'm going to go somewhere else. I need to win a Stanley Cup. Maybe I go to New York where they do have a goaltender. Maybe, and he knows that they will build the team around him. Maybe he goes back to Toronto. All of these things we've been talking about. I do think he gets a contract extension, but he's going to feel it out still because this team hasn't been able to give him pieces.
And I mean, the big thing is that with the salary cap continuing to rise, we're going to see a lot of players want to sign a short deal. We could see McDavid at 31 going back into being a UFA. He could sign a 7-year contract or a 6-year contract and just maximize the amount of money he makes. But I do agree. Listen, the second best player of the generation behind Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid has been phenomenal. But the biggest thing is, the Edmonton Oilers have not been able to win. Now listen, we're going to get into more stuff. We see Marty Braun go on to say, I think Connor will stay in Edmonton, but on a 2 or 3 year deal. And I think it's truly leaning into this. This is a team that, yes, has made back-to-back finals, lost to the Florida Panthers that are looking like a dynasty. And with the team getting older, with more cap going into their top talents, this is the team that, in my opinion, is not going to win a cup under this regime of players, management group, coaches, they're going to have to make a drastic change, and I think that's where it gets interesting. We've seen McDavid going in. If I feel that we have a good window to win here over and over again, then the signing is no problem. But when looking at what this team does, yes, don't take away them making the finals twice, pushing the Edmonton Oilers, but multiple teams have done this. The Florida Panthers look like they're not slowing down, and Connor McDavid might be looking through the window at Matthew Tkachuk, jumping ship from Calgary, winning 2 cups in a row, making 3 finals. And this does something to a player. And listen, the biggest thing is looking where he's from, Ontario. We've seen John Tavares, the Long Island boy, jump ship. No one expected to happen to be the pajama boy of Toronto. And I think McDavid is slowly looking at other options around the league. Now, the biggest thing is there's going to be a lot of contracts. We know a lot of players are getting older. On the forward group alone, you have 5 to 6 players coming off as a UFA or an RFA when we see the contract of McDavid come up. This leads straight into the defense where 4 of their 6 are going to be a UFA. The goaltenders are going to have to be completely reshaped. Darius, this is a team that's not going to win a cup with the current roster, with what they have. They're not going to win. Could you see management look at this if McDavid signs a 1, 2, or 3-year deal and say, hey, we have to mortgage every bit of our future to try to build a roster to win? Because if not, we're losing our franchise player.
And in you saying that they won't win with this current core group of players, even though they've gone to back-to-back finals, a lot of people I know in the comments or watching this are going to be like, that's a bit ridiculous. But I look back at this quote from Draymond Green, if we can take it to the NBA for a second, that he said he's been in multiple and has won multiple NBA championships and in the final. And he was talking about one of the finals he was in against the Toronto Raptors in 2019. They were in the final, but they were not close to winning a championship. And I feel like that's how Connor McDavid feels right now. There's a lot of teams that are eliminated in the second round, the third round. They feel like they're close. There's teams and guys who've been there and done that before that even when they're in the finals, do not feel like them or their team is even close to winning the championship. And again, I think that's how Connor McDavid feels right now. Yes, we've been there. We're close in theory. We're like a couple wins away, but we haven't been able to get it done when it matters most. So when you look to the future, when you look to the next couple of years, the Oilers have an opportunity to retool this team. Look how many blank spaces there are on the team moving forward. But with the salary cap going up, you're really going to have to make sure you're doing a good job and your due diligence of building this team and rebuilding it. Because again, I don't think Connor's going to stick around that long to see this through if they do mess this up, which I feel like they have for a while. And it's only really started working out the last couple of years in terms of finding playoff success and, consistent playoff success. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they end up doing. Obviously, there's new management there over the last couple of years. Ken Holland is now gone. So they want to do everything in their power to keep Connor McDavid happy and build a winning team. And they have an opportunity to do that, again, with the salary cap going up, restructure the salary a little bit of this team. But you have to go out, get a goalie. Maybe you keep Darnell Nurse, but of course he's going to have to take a bit less. Does he want to do that? Maybe he goes somewhere else. You got to continue to build this team on the fly. 2 players that would help in this situation is Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg, and they're gone now as well, right? So this is a very tricky situation for this organization.
And I mean, the big thing is looking through the lineup, everyone on this is pushing into their 30s. This will be when Connor McDavid hits the open market if not signing the extension. So you do have $44.9 million to spend, but this is a team that needs to go pick up a lot. If Evan Bouchard does not stay as a top 2 defenseman on this team, then you're looking at throwing money in for agency to pick up this. The goaltending situation is not going to get cheap. Yes, you have $44 million, and a lot of people might look at that and say, hey, Mark, that is a lot of money. But with the cap going up, we're signing these bigger deals. We're seeing Nazar in Chicago sign a 7-year deal that's worth more than Wayne Gretzky made over his career. These contracts are going to continue getting better. Goaltenders are going to cost 5, 6, and 7 million. So if you throw 15 or 16 million at Connor McDavid, 5 to 7 on a goaltender, you pick up another defenseman as Ekholm will not be on the team at this point. You're looking at bargain bin hunting to fill out a lot of a roster, and a lot of these guys getting an age. We know Hyman's had injuries. Listen, awesome player. I love his career. But if these guys continue to get older and deal with injuries, things are going to get very interesting in Edmonton, and I think there's a strong chance the window for Connor McDavid to commit to this team is the next 2 to 3 years, and if not, he will be in a new jersey. This could be a New Jersey jersey or we could see Toronto, any other team. Something is going to give, and it's getting very interesting. But Oilers fans, what's your thoughts on this? Go down and leave a comment down below. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, Darius, and take care.